Welcome to the dark side. I'm the Flannel Fox Tim Swernick, and I review Darkest Dungeon on the Nintendo Switch.
Executed with impunity.
Darkest Dungeon is a turn-based RPG dungeon crawler developed in Vancouver by Red Hook Studios Incorporated. Originally released in 2016 after a very successful Kickstarter-funded development. Darkest Dungeon has now crawled its way onto the Nintendo Switch. Playing as the owner of a new estate you've inherited, you must recruit a roster of different heroes to help you rid the world of creatures that live in the dungeons on your new land, having to clear 4 different worlds before the darkest dungeon can be explored. Combat in Darkest Dungeon is one of the best turn-based combat systems I've ever played. Having 4 heroes when going into each dungeon, the gameplay has a tactical aspect, as they each have a favorite position in your squad. However, they have different attacks that can only work when in certain positions. Moving my Jester up 1 space now allows him a multi-enemy attack that causes bleed damage, but he can still play a smooth tune to lower the stress of the whole team. These turn-based battles are grueling standoffs which you may end up grasping at straws to no avail, slowly slipping into the belly of a beautifully designed beast. Alongside your typical turn-based attack, your Crusader causing some devastating damage with his huge sword is the real enemy in the dungeons: stress. Everything that you do in DD, whether in or outside of the dungeon, has a positive or negative effect on each hero's stress level. My beginning Crusader dealt some crippling blows but was quite stressed after a long battle to which he wasn't sure he would survive. After my first dungeon exploration, I sent him to the Abbey to pray, his preferred form of stress relief, after which he came out ready for action, only to die from a heart attack on his next journey below. If you run out of torches and it's too dark to see, your team gets stressed out. If your hero dodges a deadly attack or has a drink in a pub, it brings a stress level down. But once their stress meter reaches its peak, your hero is dead and gone for good. While between dungeons, you'll manage your estate, recruit or dismiss heroes, send them for different stress-relieving activities, upgrade weapons or skills. Whew, yes, there's a lot to do when prepping for a new adventure. Spending more time carefully planning each excursion will reward you much more than just running in guns blazing. Don't forget bandages to stop bleeding, shovels to clear paths, or food to keep from starving. Carefully managing your funds, troops, and estate is absolutely vital to survive. Playing in handheld mode, everything runs just as it should. However, the tutorial type is incredibly small. After purchasing on the PS Vita and barely being able to play because it was so much crammed onto such a tiny screen, I thought this would be solved when in handheld mode on the Nintendo Switch, but this is not the case. Which is such a big deal because DD, there is so much to learn. I would recommend completing the tutorial section when in docked mode. The Nintendo Switch version does include both DLCs at launch, the Crimson Court and the Shieldbreaker. While playing a turn-based RPG, I have never had such a physical reaction as when playing Darkest Dungeon. Every little thing must be taken into account, or before you know it, you'll be bleeding out, poisoned, and have nowhere to turn. But winning a battle by the skin of your teeth is so immensely satisfying that it makes you want to spend just as much time in battle as you do prepping for it. Darkest Dungeon reacts and acts like a living ecosystem that makes every battle an edge-of-your-seat, beautiful, and challenging experience. That's why I'm giving Darkest Dungeon on the Nintendo Switch a 9 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video game review, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, leave comments, and follow me on Metacritic and Twitter at TheFlannelFox. See you next time, Switchers!